Hello again, everyone. The other evening I was chatting to one of our number who had spotted this article that she'd saved from an issue of Craft Stamper in 2013. And in 2013, it was one of the years where I was on the design team for this magazine, which is now actually defunct. It's finished. So this was one of the articles that I did for this magazine. And I thought it might be a bit of fun to kind of recreate it 10 years on. So you may notice from the pictures here, I have different rings on my fingers. I didn't change the husband, I just changed the rings, just so that you know, don't want you to feel concerned or anything like that. So there we go, same husband, different rings. Right, the idea of this is that you have a piece of white card, a piece of black card, you emboss a white image onto the black card, and vice versa onto the white. So you then cut them in half and join them together. So you've got two for the price of one. A bog off. So let's just have a go. 10 years ago, I didn't have a stamping platform. So the way I did this, the stamp is quite a solid stamp. It's kind of a negative image. The images are the bits, the flowers are the bits that actually are not stamped, as you can see here. If you don't have one of these kind of stamps, you could probably use some stamping foam to get this kind of image and then take your prints from that. Anyway, let's get going and just see how we get on. Here I've got that very stamp. It's a Hero Art stamp in my stamping platform. I thought we'd try that this time. So first of all, I'm going to do it onto white card. And rather than stamping in black and clear embossing, which you could do, I'm going to stamp in Versamark and emboss in black. Now, back in the day, I used this embossing powder, which is called Black Glint, and it's got some twinkle in it. When I did it onto the black card, I used this one, which is called Sparkling Snow, and that also has got some twinkle in it. But I thought, well, what happens if you don't have an embossing powder with any twinkle in? You may well have white, you may well have black, and here I've got just plain colours. So I thought what we might do is, rather than using the ones I used last time, is to use these, but add just a bit of glitter. This is very, very, very fine twinkle. I call it twinkle. It's glamour dust. I think that's the proprietary name for this particular one. But lots of companies do an ultra fine glitter like this. So I thought what we might do is mix a little of the plain embossing powder with a little bit of twinkle and just see what the effect is. So obviously, if you have mixed it with glitter, you won't be able to put any residue back into the pot. You'll have to keep it separate, but you could always just use your leftovers in a bit of random embossing with leftover powder. So let's get going. First of all, I need my I'll use my embossing buddy just to get rid of any finger marks or anything like that. This, whatever's in it, came out of another one. It smells lovely, really fresh. Right, there is my stamp. What I did previously, as I've started to say and went off on a tangent, because it's a big stamp like this and it's solid, you want good coverage. I didn't suggest before doing a stamping down onto a paper, I suggested that you had the stamp flat on your table, put your paper over the top, and then took the print from the paper. I'm hoping I can do it this time with my stamping platform, so we will see. Actually, before I carry on with this, I ought to mix up some of my powder that I was just talking about. Pay attention, Christine, just get on with it. Right, I'll put some, this is just old, very old, black. Heat It Up. I don't think Heat It Up is made anymore, in fact. I don't know. Don't know if there's going to be enough, but we will see. Let's put a little of this in. This looks like it could do with going through a sieve. Right. There's a little of the twinkle. Put that down there. Let's give it a little shimmy. Well, it looks like it's mixed. I just hope there's enough in there. I don't want to do too much because I don't want it to, you know, too much left over and be wasted. Although, as I've said, I probably could use it for something else. Now, making sure there's plenty of Versamark on here. I want really good coverage. Let's see. Okay. Now, I'm going to try and press really hard on here. I'm using my usual card, but this time I'm using the back, the flat side, not the linen side, because I want to try and get really good coverage. I think I'm going to do that just one more time, just to get a little bit more ink on there. It's difficult for you to see. It's bad enough for me to try and see, actually, but I think I'm just going to do it one more time. Okay. And of course, the joy of a stamping platform, you can go back into the same position. Right, let's try. Let's get a piece of paper, a piece of scrap. There it is. I don't want to get that all over it. Right, let's see if we've got enough on here. A bit more left in there. Let's put it in. Looks quite pretty, doesn't it? Oh, I haven't got much left in there. Gonna have to put it back from here. I'll give it another shimmy over in a moment. When I add embossing powder to any stamping, I try and make sure that I don't just let it slide straight off. I like to give it a little tap around, because there will be gaps where, you know, the powder hasn't reached the ink. So if you give it a little tap, it has a chance to get every single bit of ink. Okay. Now, it's interesting to me because this on here seems to show much more of the blues and purples and goodness knows what than it did of just the plain white in the box. Do you know, I don't think that's a very good image there. I'm going to have to heat it because it's got the powder on. But looking at it, can you see there's a bit here that doesn't look too good? What I could do is try the old-fashioned method of putting it on the mat and trying to take a print from it. I'll try in a moment. For the minute, let's just heat this up. what I'm thinking is how to remedy that bit. I'm just wondering whether to do, that's a blender. I need an embossing pen. Where is an embossing pen? I do have something somewhere. Here it is. Here it is. This is an embossing pen. It's got like the equivalent of Versamark, that kind of thing in it. So I'm just going to do this on these few little marks where there seems to be no powder. Don't want to get on the stems. Let's just see if I've got it. It shows blue when you do it, but right, let's just try this and see. Get my paper back. See if that's done the trick. Okay, let's try it. I'll just heat that bit up. Deb, whom I met on my birthday for coffee, was showing me how to do whizzing up fast through videos. Maybe I have to do that if this heating up goes on a bit too long. Well, that sorted that out. That was a bit of luck, wasn't it? That's done the job. Excellent. So I'll put that on one side for a moment. And now I want to put in a piece of black. This is a bit flimsy, this card, but hopefully it'll be okay. Just make sure that's in the right place. Oh, that's fine. Right, here we go again with our... Oh, before I do that, let's mix up a little of the white with a little bit of twinkle as well. This is just wow, opaque, bright white. Let's have a little bit of that. And we'll add a little bit of twinkle just to see if it'll work. It's very twinkly on the black. We'll see what it's like on the white. Put a little of this in. Okay. It might make, you know, your powders and things go a little bit further if you've got an alternative way of using them, by just mixing a little bit of something in. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to have to be careful with the middle. It might be easier for me to see if the ink has actually covered the paper on the black than it was on the white. Let's just see. With particular attention to the middle. Ooh. Let's have a look. I will do it again. I don't know if this is covered or not, really. There's a bit in the centre that looks a trifle suspect, but we will see. We will see. Let's just try this. Now, this is for the white. This back into here. Put some more over this corner. And that corner. Looks okay, actually. Guess what? I forgot. Didn't use my anti-static, did I? My anti-static brush. on there, but nevertheless I'm going to cut this down anyway, so not to worry. There we go. Right, now all we need to do is put this out of the way, is to cut these down and substitute one half for the other. To my mind, the white is more successful with the twinkle in it than the black. The black, whether I put too much in or what, I don't know. It looks a bit gaudy to me. It looks a little bit de trop, you know. Not too keen. So what I could do is just see if I can, actually I haven't finished. There's a bit there that's not quite heated. That is better. Now, all I need to do is to cut them out, cut them in half and put one half with the other. Not quite sure whether I did that. Cutting them together or just measuring. I'm not really sure what I did. I don't know if the instructions tell me. Let me just cut them down. Right, I've got to, if I cut down this, whoops, daisy, there we go. If I cut down this, not sure if that's quite in the right place. Let me just, this is too much. I'm just going to have to come in a bit so I can get it more accurate. Right, there to there. That's better. That's absolutely on the dot. Now let's see how big that is. That is 9 and 9.2. 9.2 centimetres. 9.2. Is that 9.2? No, it's not. I thought it was a square. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them in half and add one piece to the other. There we go. There. So see, I don't think it is a square. Never mind, we won't worry about that. We'll just cut it in half and add the other one. Let's do the white one. Let me cut it a little bit proud so I can see what I'm doing. That wasn't actually too bad, was it? There we go. Now, we go around. It's not quite right. Just a bit more from the top. There we go. Better. Taking that sliver off. Now this one. Not quite enough. last one. Okay. Now, look at that, absolutely the same. So, we need to get halfway down, don't we? That is, what did I say? That is actually 9. So if we cut it on 4.5, we should be in business. Right. Cut them both together on 4.5. There we go. Right. Now, this one goes with this one. You can see the little petals just fit. And this one goes with this one. So then you join them two together and mount them onto another piece of card, which I'm going to do presently. How I finish off the whole thing is you know, a matter for choice, really. I think what I have a fancy for doing this time, I've got my card base here. What I fancy doing this time is doing a broad frame and having this recessed in for one of them, and maybe something else for the other one. But you got the idea. You got 2 for 1. We'll for some obscure reason, my phone decided just to stop recording. It had probably had enough. It was feeling tired, so it just stopped. So I'll just carry on to say what I was going to do or had done already. Here, I just joined 2 together. I put a piece of sticky tape on the back of one side and joined the 2 together so that the tiny little marks where the petals change from white to black coincide. And I also discovered on my travels that it isn't actually a square. When I was starting to do some measuring, I realised that it was deeper than it was wide. So I'm going to just alter that by cutting out, it'll just chop the bottom off, which is what I did for that. I made a frame with these 2 double-stitched dies. The idea of double-stitched dies is great in that because there are stitch marks either side of the cut line, whether you're doing the outside, you get the stitch marks from the inside of the die, or if you're doing an aperture, you get the marks from the outside of the cut line. So it matches up and it looks like a unified thing. Double stitch dies, love them. Can't remember the make of those, but you can get them kind of anywhere. And square ones will fit any country. Rectangles are a bit more tricky. So all I did was, I'm going to be sticking this, I put it onto another piece of card, in fact, because it was a bit curly. So the piece that came out of there, I stuck on the back of this, just to give it a bit more substance. So I'm going to stick that in there. I may well, I've got a hankering for putting a little sentiment across here. And I'll think of something else to do with this one. But can you see it's a bit curly? This one's nice and flat because I added it to another piece of card. I think that's kind of it. Thank you so much, all of those people who have now subscribed to my channel, who've been watching. Quite a few people, additional ones have, for which I'm most grateful. I was surprised at how many people watch, but actually hadn't subscribed. So thank you so much. And anyone else who does watch and hasn't subscribed, please do. It will help make these videos more available to other crafters. So I will put the finished cards on Instagram, on the community tab, on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook page. So have a look close up, see what they look like. And as ever, thank you so much for watching.